So growing up, I used to watch a ton of Disney movies, but my absolute favorite has always been Treasure Planet. It released on November 27th, 2002, and unfortunately, it was a massive box office failure. It's the movie that almost killed Disney's traditional animation studio, but why? The creators, John Musker and Ron Clements, fought for decades to get this movie made. After directing mega hits like The Little Mermaid, The Great Mouse Detective, and even Aladdin, they finally brokered a deal with Roy E. Disney. They would direct Hercules, and only then would they be allowed to make their passion project. After all that hard work, you'd think it would have been a smash hit, right? But for all of its beautiful art, the incredible soundtrack by John Resnick and James Newton Howard, and a stunning blend of traditional and CG animation, this movie bombed. People have a lot of theories about why it failed. Maybe it was the rough timing with it being released between the Santa Claus 2 and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which, let's be honest, that's an absolutely brutal release window. Others say the marketing was bad, or that the trailers just gave a little bit too much away about the plot. Whatever the reason, it is a genuine tragedy. Instead of dwelling on that, I want to celebrate this film. Treasure Planet isn't just a favorite for me, it's a profound adventure that holds a place in my heart. So join me as we jump into some of the most unforgettable scenes just to see why it's a true masterpiece. The movie starts in one of the most unique ways for a Disney film from this era. We're introduced to the legend of Captain Flint with a storybook open, except it's not a dusty old book. It's a children's book that belongs to our main character, a bright-eyed kid named Jim Hawkins. This scene does such a good job showing us who Jim is before the movie even truly begins. A little boy completely obsessed with pirates, adventure, and grand tales. He truly loves the idea of discovery. We also meet his mother, Sarah, who shares in his bedtime fantasy. Their bond is so full of love and warmth, which is crucial for the film as it gives us a snapshot of the pure innocence and happiness that's about to become completely shattered. When we fast forward 12 years into the future, that idyllic moment is gone. We find a now 16-year-old Jim no longer poring over storybooks, but recklessly solar sailing through the skies of Montresor. His once bright eyes now have a rebellious glint, and his relationship with his mother is strained. The bimbo that once felt so cozy now feels more like a prison for the both of them. That uneasy calm, however, is shattered pretty soon, with the crash landing of a giant tortoise-like pirate named Billy Bones, who thrusts a mysterious sphere into Jim's hands before the end gets incinerated by a group of people. Huddled in the aftermath, Jim discovers the sphere is actually a map, but not just any map. It springs to life with a breathtaking holographic star chart. We get the perfect reaction from our clumsy but brilliant astrophysicist, Dr. Delbert Doppler, who practically vibrates with nerdy excitement. With a little push from Doppler, who expertly appeals to Sarah's sense of logic, Jim gets to go on his trip to find the legendary Treasure Planet. This entire opening sequence is so crucial for the movie because it truly gives us a clear picture of what Jim is hoping to gain and why he's so willing to take this journey in the first place, to find a purpose for himself and to save his family. The launch of the RLS Legacy isn't just a scene, it's a stunning display of animation fusion. As the majestic, CG-rendered ship lifts off, Jim's hand-drawn figure stands aboard. It's a perfect visual metaphor. Jim, a kid from a small town, is literally and figuratively launching into an exciting unknown future. This is the moment where the movie's incredible art style really shines. The warmth of the 2D animation blends perfectly with the massive scale and the dynamic camera movements of the 3D environments. The creators actually had a design rule for the film called the 70-30 law, which would be 70% traditional, classic pirate adventure, and 30% sci-fi, which is why we have things like ships with sails that fly in space. We also get glimpses of some magnificent celestial creatures called the Orcus Galacticus, which drift gracefully through the cosmic currents, making the very aether feel more like a vibrant living ocean than an empty pocket of space. The I'm Still Here montage is a powerful nonverbal narrative that lays bare Jim's soul. As John Resnick's anthem swells in the background, the visuals don't just show Jim doing chores, they plunge us into his inner world. We see quick, impactful flashbacks of his absent father, a man who presumably went out for some space milk and never came back. We finally understand the deep wound of abandonment that Jim's had inside of him this whole time. His rebellion and guardedness aren't just a personality trait, they're a defense mechanism. This montage is crucial because it's during these quiet moments that Jim starts to absorb the life lessons from John Silvers. By the way, fun fact, Silvers is a fantastic example of this movie's groundbreaking animation. As his traditionally hand-drawn character, it has a fully computer animated prosthetic arm. It's the bond that's formed here in this montage that makes the later betrayal so much more impactful. The storm scene is a masterclass in tension and stakes. It's a visceral, heart-stopping maelstrom that shatters Jim's newfound confidence. The ship groans under the assault, its majestic sails threatening to shred, and the very aether outside transforming into a terrifying swirling vortex. The visuals are breathtaking, and the score by James Newton Howard makes every creaking timber feel like a disaster waiting to happen. Jim, desperate to prove himself, throws himself into the fray. But despite his heroic efforts, a tragic act of sabotage leads to the gut-wrenching loss of Mr. Arrow. It's a failure Jim believes to be entirely his own, a crushing weight that threatens to send him spiraling. But it's in this raw, immediate aftermath of this heartbreak that Silvers delivers one of the most magnificent pep talks in Disney history. He doesn't sugarcoat the loss. Instead, he sees the makings of greatness in Jim and implores him to take the helm and chart his own course, no matter the squalls. This heartfelt encouragement makes the eventual reveal of Silver's true intentions a truly devastating and heart-wrenching betrayal.
And when the time comes, you get the chance to really test the cut of your sails and show what you're made of. Well, I hope I'm there, catching some of the light coming off you that day.
In the final climax of the film, the heart of Treasure Planet is erupting into a cataclysmic frenzy. Captain Flint, the legendary pirate, had rigged the entire place to explode if the treasure had ever been claimed, even stealing the memories away from his robot navigator Ben so he couldn't warn anyone of the trap. With the treasure now inert, Jim, on a makeshift solar surf, heroically navigates a collapsing, exploding landscape, using the map not for gold, but for an escape, opening the portal that leads directly back to Montresor. In the quiet aftermath, Silvers makes his bittersweet exit, leaving Jim a portion of the treasure to restore his mother's inn and his beloved little shape-shifting companion, Morph, a final complex gesture of their bond. The film concludes with Jim's triumph. He's no longer a rebellious kid, but a young man ready to conquer the stars. Every time I watch Treasure Planet, I find something new and enjoyable about it. One of my favorite details is the clever use of color theory in Jim's outfits. He starts off after the initial time skip in dark browns and blacks, reflecting his guarded, rebellious phase. But as he starts to find himself and open up throughout the journey, he sheds that heavy black coat for a lighter shade of brown, eventually culminating in him wearing white and gold, the Academy uniform, towards the end of the film. It's a powerful visual symbol that he's finally found who he was meant to be. All in all, this remains one of my absolute favorite movies. I genuinely feel this story, one of Disney's best to date, deserved to perform so much better at the box office. If given a fair chance, this film could have been considered one of Disney's enduring classics. But due to various unfortunate circumstances, it's sadly regarded to the status of an underrated gem. The ending feels so fantastic, with Jim having finally found his purpose and the universe feeling so vast and alive. It makes it even harder to swallow the bitter truth that because of its box office performance, we were, in essence, robbed of so much more. The creators had actually planned for a sequel where Jim would be enrolled in the Interstellar Academy, like at the end of the film, and would team up with a new love interest, and, most importantly, reunite with Silvers for another adventure. All of those possibilities, all that potential for deeper world building, were simply gone, extinguished by the numbers at the box office report. It's a genuine tragedy for fans like me, knowing exactly how much we missed out on. If you haven't seen this movie for yourself, I highly recommend you go and watch it. I promise you, it is absolutely worth your time. With that out of the way, if you did like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe, as I'm planning on putting out more content just like this in the near future. with that being said, that's all for me for today. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Bye!